there isn't faith, when there is no trust on that level, my mind is thinking so much, and there's a noisiness that actually sets in. And I think today in the world, one of the areas in which people lose a lot of power, and they find a lot of their energies being overtaken, is in the area of relationships. In the work that we do at the Brahma Kumaris, and we've become very much aware that in the conversations that people have and in the kind of relationships that they have with each other, often it's not the task at hand or the things or the situation that's really the problem. It's often the relationship. Somebody was saying to me the other day that, there's a family member in the home that's quite sick. And on the one hand, there's that physical condition to deal with. But she said, I somehow can deal with that physical condition better. But what I have to deal with is people's personalities. And then there's one member in the family feeling insecure. The other one wants to take control over the situation. The other one feels not consulted enough. There are so many energies that come into play. And so on the one hand, there's the situation which needs total attention and support. But what we're dealing with more than the situation today, we find, is the whole aspect of relationship. So one of the things that Dadi brings up very beautifully, and I'd just like to read it to start off with, is how do we earn trust? And she said, to earn the trust of others, you need to become completely clean inside. This means becoming completely selfless and honest. And so to really look into that space and say, how much has my own space become clear and focused through which I'm able to interact with you from a very clean space? I just found it very, very powerful to be reflective of this point of asking the self, how much faith do I have in others? And today, one of the things we're going to look at is faith versus control. So let's just stop for a moment and think about this together as we have our traffic control, and think about how much faith and trust do you have in those around you? So I'm sure you also had a moment to think about this whole aspect of faith and trust. And just a few things that I had learned in my own spiritual journey, which I would like to share about this morning. And one of the teachings that we had learned is that very often faith in another being is not just based on the obvious or what they're doing at the moment, but real faith in another human being means to have faith and know that their original state of being is also good. So sometimes when we see a person's way of interacting, or we see somebody's behavior at the present moment, people often says, oh, he can't do anything, or she can't do anything, or see their behavior is so terrible. And then over a period of time, they say, well, I've lost faith in them. I don't think they can accomplish anything. But faith is such a powerful energy, and faith looks beyond the obvious. And I know of people, and I've seen it in my own journey, that somebody's behavior may be in a certain way. I'm so sorry about this. So somebody's behavior may be in a certain way, but over a period of time, when you have this deep faith in them, you look at them beyond that. And I remember, I want to share a very practical story. When I was a school teacher, and there was this young boy in my class, and he was a very troubled kid, very, very troubled. And he would do so many things that would annoy the teachers, and they just wanted to get him out of the place. And I remember one day sitting at the playground, and I was sitting on one of the stands there in the grounds, and I saw him after school. And usually every day after school, he was still relatively young, but after school, he would not go straight home. And he would often go around the corner behind the gym area and all of that. And I knew that he was smoking dacha. So he was having his joint. But I knew that this child was much more than what I could see in that obvious way. And so I was sitting on the ground, and I knew he would walk past. And so he walked past and he said to me, ma'am, what are you still doing here? You must go home. And he used to always tease me. He said, you live in a meditation center. You must go there and go give peace to the world. They need the peace. So you must go home, ma'am. And I remember looking at him, and his middle name is Prince. So as I was talking to him, I said, oh, I just was waiting for the prince. I want to spend some time with the prince. And he said, who's the prince? And I said, well, you are the prince. And he said, no, not me, not me. I'm not a prince. It's just my name that. And I don't want to mention his first name because I don't want to reveal who this child is. But his middle name was Prince. And he kept saying to me, I'm not a prince. I'm not a prince. And every time I talked to him, I used to always call him Prince. And in the beginning, he used to get annoyed. But over a period of time, when I called him Prince, he became silent. So there was a little acceptance of this. And, you know, it took years later, but one day, when he finished school, and he passed well, he was quite an intelligent kid. I met him at the shopping mall, and he looked at me and he said, hello, ma'am. And I couldn't recognize him. He looked so well. I asked him, hello. I said to him, hello. And he said, can't you see, here's your prince. The prince is here. And I looked at his state of well-being, and he looked so well. And he was just saying to me, I sat down and I was talking to him, and he said to me, you know, in that moment when you used to call me Prince, I never believed it, and I never wanted to believe it because my life was such a difficult story. And he came...
them to move in the house because otherwise...
Brother Vinodin, can you... Okay, thank you. So he said, I came from a very difficult home environment, and he came from a very delicate home environment in that way. And so over a period of time, he began to feel that way. And so he became very troubled about his whole journey. And so as a result of it, his behavior was a very restless one. And I've seen he was one example in life, but there are many examples that when you do not just respond to a person's obvious behavior, but you have faith and trust in who they really are beyond that obvious behavior, that faith wakens that which is the truth in them. I'm sure yesterday when you heard Sister Raksha talking about God's faith and trust in us too, it's a very, very powerful space. And, this morning when we were studying our morning class, there was just that feeling that God's saying, I know you and I know of your life. And sometimes we don't know of our own life and we don't know what our capacity is. But because God sees us with such a high vision, because he knows who we are, he gives us the opportunity to bring it out of our being. But similarly, in the same way, when we have deep faith and trust in others, then that awareness, and we've been talking, remember Sharad, we've been talking about the whole aspect of starting from awareness till we come into behavior. And so if my awareness about the people in my life is of a highest energy, it's not an airy-fairy space. The truth is each one of us in our original state are good. We have the highest quality of personality. And it's just that through life's journey, we've been influenced, we've been affected, and many things have happened along this journey. But when I have faith in someone beyond their behavior of the present time, then many powerful things begin to happen. So I just want to share screen here at this point. And I want to take up this one aspect particularly, and that is faith versus control and trust versus control particularly. And this is something that is born out of that energy of faith that we look into. So when there's a deep level of faith, I trust you. And today we can see in the world how, because people don't have faith and trust in another human being, how people's lives are controlled. And today we can see how when lives are controlled, lives become so compromised. And it's like somebody who has the ability to fly and take the sky. We, through our control, because we don't have faith and trust in them, we cage another human being. And sometimes we may not talk about this control in a very obvious way. And we may also use very loving words like, oh, I did this because I know what's the best for you. I love you, so I did this. I thought about it before, and I thought that if I did this or I managed this thing for you, then your life will be better. So sometimes in our life's journey, we may not use very bad words or demanding words in that way in our expression of control. But we do control in a very powerful way, yet in a so-called very loving way. No? When somebody really has faith and trust in another human being, they are able to open their heart, they are able to open their mind, they are able to open that space so powerfully that you are not controlling a certain person's behavior, but you are providing a space, that an atmosphere that is so powerful that in that atmosphere, the other person can blossom. It's like, for example, sometimes you don't trust another person's cooking, or you don't have faith that they can do some things. So you do it before they even come. And you say, no, I just thought it'll be nice if this was ready-made for you. But sometimes it's not because you just want to do it out of love. It's because you think, oh no, I don't know about this person's cooking, or I don't know if this person is going to get it right. So I don't have that kind of faith and trust in another person. And so I take over situations. When I have control, I take over situations. And when you take over situations, you stifle the relationship. You know, in life, we can't live another person's life. We can provide a pathway through which they can walk and experience their life. But I cannot take over another person's life. Neither can I change another person's life, but I can have faith and trust in them that they can change. It's very, very powerful, this aspect of control. You know, sometimes when you're controlling something, you've given somebody a task, but then you ask them 10 times, did you do it this way? Was this right? And we don't realize, and then that person gets irritated and said, but why did you ask me to do it if you wanted it in a certain way? And you say, no, I'm just saying it because I thought it would be good for you. So sometimes this word control, we don't like it when we think I'm controlling another human being. But it's something that happens today a lot in relationships. And as a result of it, people can't live their life. But when there's faith and trust in another human being, I provide such a beautiful atmosphere that in that atmosphere, they have the confidence to bring out the best of who they are, and they begin to blossom. It's like faith and trust is like providing the fertile soil. You plant the seed and you provide the fertile soil. And as that sapling grows and as that flower blossoms, it blossoms into the authentic beauty of who it is. But as an individual, I can't control its growth. I can't say, okay, now take the next leaf out. Okay, let the next petal grow. But if I have provided very fertile soil, then in that flower will blossom beautifully. You know? And so stepping into inner power is really that space where even in my journey with others, I have so much faith and trust in them, and I don't control people. You know, one day there'll be a time when they will not allow you, or the drama or life will not allow that space where you are totally in control. Because there's nothing in life that we have total control over. The only control we can have over is our own self and our own thoughts. And so when I'm able to grow in that space very, very powerfully and hold that faith and trust in another human being, so many things, beautiful things can happen. You know, one of the teachings that we were taught was, if you're struggling with another human being, and even if you don't have, you can see 9 things wrong in them, find the one thing that is their speciality and trust it and give so much power to it that that one speciality you saw in them gives them the power to work through their 9 weaknesses and become the best in who they are. And when another person in your life's journey that you are traveling with is in a good space. Together, when you come together, you develop a collective space that is good. Yeah. It's such a beautiful and powerful topic for me today, this aspect of faith and trust. How much in my heart space I can look at another person in their eye and say, I believe in you. It's so powerful. It's not I'm saying I believe you, because that is still based on what they're doing now and whether it's right or whether it's wrong. But with faith and trust, I'm able to look at another human being and say, I believe in you. I want the best for you. And with faith and trust, I know that you will achieve your best. It may not be the best according to how I see it, but again, faith and trust allows another human being to be authentic in who they are. And so today in the world, we see, as we talked about it last week as well, we've mixed up the word love and attachment. So when there's love and there's faith and trust, I allow the other human being to just blossom into the fullness of who they are. And no two people are the same. So I can't expect somebody to be the way I think they should be, even amongst your children, to have faith and trust in the authentic personality of each one. And each child may be very different. One may be an academic and you can see the results and you have total confidence that this child is going to go through. And there's another one that stares into the sky and makes love poems and does art, and their life looks so airy-fairy. And then you think, how is this person going to make it there into the world? But maybe that's the child who's very real, so authentic, and very often in life, the one who has the sincere heart to take you in life's journey. Never judge a person just by their physical achievements or their behaviors of the present moment. When there's real love and I can see the uniqueness of each one, with so much faith and trust in them, I'm able to grow. And along that journey, I do require patience. When I have faith and trust, there won't be quick fixes in relationships. There aren't quick fixes in relationships. I can't say I trusted you for the day, but now see how you behaved. I can't say I have faith for you in this 5 minutes, but see now you broke my faith. Faith and trust are long-term vibrations, but they are so extremely sustainable that when I'm able to really deepen faith and trust, the relationship I've invested in is real, is honest, is authentic. And a person who feels that you have faith in them and trust in them will always remain very honest with you. When people don't feel the faith and trust, they close a part of themselves and never reveal it to you. Such a beautiful energy. And I really want us to think about today this journey of trust versus control, and how I can use very nice words in another person's life. But basically, I'm still saying to them, I don't trust you. I don't have faith in you. I'm just being nice to you because I think that will help you. So tell me what's your thoughts. It's a topic that's relevant to all of us at this time in our life. And yeah, please talk to me. What's your thoughts? Anybody? When I was reading about it today and looking at it in life's journey, I was just, I could resonate with today's topic so much, because I have experienced when somebody had faith and trust in me and how it made me blossom. We have to be very, very, our vision for another human being is so powerful. Because what you see in another human being, you're going to draw out of them. So when your attitude and your vision is filled with faith and trust, you bring the best out of them. Yeah. Please talk to me. Yes, Trevor, please talk.
Yes, yeah, so beautiful and so spot on and so important for me, because I think intuitively, sometimes I act that way, trusting people. But I realize now when you speak that sometimes either because of our own dishonesty to ourselves or not recognizing or connecting with our true intentions, our feelings. So it's true. Sometimes we act as if, yes, you are doing well, but we don't really trust the person. So today I learned that lesson that you must have that deep trust,
Honesty,
genuine, authentic. Then the person will blossom and become and walk their own path. Thank you very much, sister.
Thank you, Trevor. Yeah, it's so important, And, very often a person who doesn't trust somebody will 10 times say, I trust you. I trust you. But somebody who really trusts another human being doesn't even probably say it once, but you can feel it so loudly and powerfully in their vibration that I feel understood and I feel trusted. More? Let's talk. This is lovely.
Thank you, Sister.
Anybody else? Pleasure, Aruna.
I must say, when you were talking about when you took up the aspect of trust in relationships and control, and yes, when you do not trust someone to be able to know how to do it, or as you say, you would do it quickly and say, oh no, it was fine. So a real lesson for me was that too, because you become so sort of, oh, only I can do that, kind of thing, and everyone else won't be able to do the same thing. But as soon as I let go of this idea that and had a deep realization of the control, I became so liberated from this aspect of, I have to do it, only I have to do it. I have to do everything and say yes to everything. Because I always just wanted the control, so the outcome would be the way I like it. And also what I found is that when I did let go and allow the other person to take charge, I saw the responsibility that they took up, the growth and how they blossomed. So for me, it was also such a eye opener of how, and you wouldn't think of yourself as being controlling or just like to say, oh, I can just do it, I can do it.
We use such nice words to comfort ourselves.
But thank you for that, again, just reminder that, how important it is for us to let go, and we realize how liberating, and it frees us from, all the stress as well.
Yeah. And I think, Debbie, you're saying something beautiful here. Let me just get it to read it. We tend to judge others first, but with the awareness that I can see the other's original state is actually of the highest quality is a wonderful way to change myself in such an easy way. Thank you. And Neer is saying, I beg to differ your point on the way we see children. Mums always want the best for their kids. I'm very guilty because in the end, I don't stay with my children. I have to help them get to places. People don't understand that mums are moving their children along so they become better versions of themselves, my opinion. No, I listen to you, Neer, and I know the love of a mother to want the best for the child. I think the only difference that probably we must support our children, and nothing stops us from supporting them and doing certain things. But long as over the end of the day, we don't live their lives. I've seen many examples as well. And yesterday I was talking to a young girl, a very lovely young girl who had run away from home. And it was a very, very deep moment for me. And the only thing she said, I spoke to her after 2 years, and the only thing she said is, everyone wanted the best for me, but no one knew what was my best. And so the only way I could find it is I had to leave. So sometimes we just have to stay awake, that we have to offer our best to our children, and we need to support them. And yes, as moms, I'm sure that we want to give our children their best, but never stop also being awake to see where they are at. Because sometimes the results, like I experience a few these days, where people then just move away. So each journey is a different one, and I accept that, Neer. And so, yes, powerfully do continue to support these children, because they do need us. It's a different thing to support our children, but it's a very different thing to control them. Yeah. Any last thought? Thank you. That was wonderful. Nice inputs. Somebody said something here. I just want to share my experience. I had chosen my younger sister to be my confidant and my best friend. I did not expect the same thing in return from, because it was my choice based on my love for her that made me decide to choose her as my best friend and confidant. She betrayed me at the worst time in my life, when I had mental health issues. Even a close relationship of two of our brothers, she controls them and turns them against the rest of the family. Yes, we see many different things happening today, and we have to understand faith and trust very, very powerfully. And when I trust another human being, I'm not just trusting them with a naiveness. I'm trusting them out of wisdom, and I'm trusting them out of truth, and I'm trusting them out of purity. So to trust is not to be naive. To trust is to be wise, to provide that right opportunity. Okay, wonderful. Thanks, Cynthia. Yes, we all learn and we all grow, particularly on this journey. So yes, time's just gone by, but let's just end off with a short meditation. So I did not manage to prepare a slide for this, but let's just do this, right? Great. So just allow the self to silently come into a moment of stillness. Many scenes and many situations may be flashing in my intellect right now as I recall the moments of my life in this journey of faith and trust. As I recall the moments in my journey where instead of trust, there was control, and I experienced the stifling moments. But in this moment, as I go back to the fullness of my being, I realize what power there is in true faith and trust. Stepping beyond the obvious, stepping into the powerful and knowing that God's purest energy always will support that which is pure and powerful. So today, with a very determined thought and surrounding myself with pure thoughts, I create a canopy of protection, a feeling of safety for myself and those in my life. With determination and pure thoughts, many things can change. So today, with a lot of love and purity of heart, holding clean feelings and benevolent intentions, I release, I let go, I believe, and I trust. I stay with you, O Divine Being, as you keep filling my mind with truth and purity and benevolence of heart. Today, I will be one who will only see the best in you. I will believe in you today. Om Shanti. Thank you, Sister Aruna.
Thank you, Sister Dipti. It was really beautiful and so rich sharings. And I think that truly when we trust others, when we give them the space of really letting them be, we receive this richness, we receive liberation, from being caught in, and we allow the growth and the relationship to grow so beautifully with so much of love. So that trusting and versus the control, that's a good thing that we need to check ourselves today, really, to see where am I at, and let us let that go. Let us grow our wings and fly up above all of those situations. So have a beautiful day. Thank you so much, and we will see you tomorrow morning. Thank you.
I just want to wish Sister Kumari a happy birthday. She's such a beautiful yogi soul who's always so cooperative with everything in our journey. And so on behalf of everyone, Sister Kumari, and with a lot of love, happy birthday, Divine Angel. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.